is working the night shift at a cash depot in Sweden. She's counting banknotes, tons of money. But by now, it's just pieces of paper to her. Routine, really. Just like these headphones she and the others are wearing to block out the noise. But suddenly, a new sound starts to creep in. Wait, is that a helicopter? This is the beginning of one of the most spectacular bank heists in history. Robbers will strike several locations across Sweden at the exact same time. The police will be outmatched, the authorities humiliated, and millions in cash will be stolen. The chase will lead investigators to Eastern Europe. And, of all things, the security camera at a local McDonald's will provide a crucial clue. We dug through countless court documents to piece together how the Västberga heist actually went down, and who was really behind it. September 23, 2009. Spectacular robberies in Sweden have been making headlines for several years now. But this heist tops everything. As the international press turns its attention to the small town of Västberga, the authorities are clueless. How much money was stolen? How many robbers were involved? And why couldn't the police stop them? According to a Swedish daily newspaper, police didn't reach the cash depot until 30 minutes after the alarm was triggered. Meanwhile, the nearest police station is only a 15-minute walk away. What happened? Official statements are vague. The security company that owns the cash depot stays quiet too. G4S is one of the largest security firms in the world. They install security systems and protect sites such as nuclear power plants in the US and even the Pentagon. Right before the end of the month, depots like this one are packed with cash. So people across Sweden can withdraw their salaries the moment the money arrives. A pretty good time to strike. So far, only one thing is clear. This is the first robbery in Sweden to use a helicopter. A Bell 206. It's a relatively small light chopper, one of the best-selling models ever. It can carry 5 people including the pilot, but it isn't built for heavy loads. A well-known Swedish criminologist speculates that the robbers could have stolen up to 1 billion kroner from the depot. Back then, about $130 million. Helicopter experts, on the other hand, say that carrying that much cash, it should have crashed. So how the hell did they pull this off? September 23, the early morning hours. Mittinge, a small town known for its sea views and peaceful atmosphere, is asleep. Alongside holiday homes, the town also has a hangar, housing these 2 helicopters. They belong to the Stockholm police. And this man sneaking through the bushes has his eye on them. Under each arm, he's carrying a plastic box. The man places the first box in front of the hangar. Then he moves to the back and places the second one. Then he returns to the hangar's entrance and pulls out a hatchet. He smashes the numbered entry pad several times. Finally, he disappears back into the darkness. And then, nothing happens. The man walks to the nearest bus stop and gets rid of his gear. His part of the job is done. Now it's up to the others. Back at the depot. Down here, Jenny and her colleagues are counting cash. Up here, a Bell 206 barrels toward the building. With remarkable precision, it lands on the roof, perfectly positioned between the glass pyramid and the edge. 3 people jump out. One is carrying a submachine gun. Another runs straight toward the pyramid and swings a huge sledgehammer at the glass. Again and again. Meanwhile, his accomplice calmly unloads his gear. Explosives, climbing ropes, and mailbags. 2 ladders are attached to the helicopter's skids. The robbers detach one of them and set it down beside the chopper. After a few more swings, the glass gives way. The helicopter lifts off. The robbers enter the building. Jenny's boss spots them. He knows they're coming for the counting room, so he rushes back and yells,
"Secure the money!"
Then he triggers the alarm and calls building security. Jenny still doesn't fully clock what's going on, but her boss's instructions are clear. The cash has to be locked away in these cages made of reinforced steel, secured with padlocks. It's still quiet at the police station, about a 10-minute drive from Västberga. Inspector Göran Palm is about to finish his shift. He's waiting for his colleague to take over. When suddenly, the alarm sounds. Immediately, Inspector Palm rushes to his car. A colleague jumps in after him. They're told that the alarm came from the G4S cash depot. Helicopter, armed men, on the roof. Palm speeds toward the scene. He feels like he's starring in a Hollywood movie. Soon, they're closing in on the depot, when Palm spots something on the road. The officers jump out of the car to find out what just happened. Her real job is to observe Goran Bojovic. She can't hear exactly what the men are saying. She can only keep an eye on them. The three chat for about 5 minutes with Bojovic doing most of the talking. Then, handshakes. One man walks with Bojovic to his car while the other gets into a Peugeot and drives off. On September 28, 5 days after the heist, the police and a Swedish court announced that 6 suspects have been arrested. One of the suspects is Goran Bojovic. Searching his apartment, investigators found a bag containing about 118,500 kroner, roughly $15,000 at the time. He's believed to have put the team together. Another man is arrested at Arlanda Airport just before he can escape to the Canary Islands. The press nicknames him Flykt, which means escape in Swedish. His real name is Alexander Eriksson. He's a TV producer who runs in high society circles with Swedish celebrities. He's even rumored to be in contact with the Prime Minister. Between October and December, police arrest 7 more men accused of helping plan or taking part in the heist. One of them is believed to have planted the fake bombs. His DNA is found in the remains of the gloves and the lighter. In January, investigators identified the man who carried the submachine gun. The police already know him. His name is Kadum, and this was his second armed robbery. Back in 2000, he and a gang stole invaluable art from the Swedish National Museum. He was caught and served 2 years in prison. Now he's been caught again. In July 2010, the public prosecutor presses charges. While the 10 arrests are seen as a major success for the investigation, authorities believe there must have been more people involved behind the scenes. For over 10 months, the police gather evidence and interview witnesses. 50 investigators work the case full-time. By now, they have a clear picture of how much the robbers managed to steal. Almost 40 million kroner, about $5 million at the time. That's how they managed to get away by helicopter, not taking too much. Just under a year after the robbery, the 10 men stand trial. 5 of them are accused of being directly involved in the heist. The other 5 face charges of aiding and abetting. The public prosecutor is confident there's enough evidence to convict all of them. But the men deny the charges. Take Alexander Eriksson, the TV producer. He's accused of flying the helicopter on the night of the heist. No way, he insists. His DNA in the stolen helicopter? That's easily explained, he says. After all, the chopper was stolen from the flight school he's been a member of for 15 years. The undercover officer at the museum clearly identifies him as the man in the suit at the meeting with Bojovic. Eriksson admits he was at the meeting. And yes, he talked to Bojovic, but about wind power, since Bojovic works in construction. He claims to have an alibi, too. On the night of the heist, he was involved in a car accident. But there's a problem. An hour after the supposed accident, he's spotted at a local McDonald's, about a 30-minute walk from where the helicopter was later found. Surveillance footage shows Eriksson calmly ordering breakfast just before 7 a.m. How did he get from a car crash in central Stockholm to a McDonald's in the suburbs? The prosecution is convinced that 2 of the other defendants staged the crash to give him an alibi. Surprisingly, one of them, Kadum, admits his involvement. Investigators found his blood on multiple pieces of evidence. The other defendants continued to deny any involvement in the heist. But after just 18 days of trial, 7 of the 10 defendants are convicted. Alexander Eriksson and Kadum are each sentenced to 7 years in prison for armed robbery. The other 5 defendants are found guilty of aiding, abetting, and protecting criminals, including Goran Bojovic, who also goes to prison. Before the trial, they were seen as daring, clever crooks. None of them were elite soldiers in the Balkan Wars, as was speculated. But the trial stripped them of their mystique. They turned out to be nothing more than a ragtag group of violent criminals. After the heist, heated debate broke out in Sweden over how such attacks could be prevented in the future. Trade unions spoke out. Handling cash creates a dangerous work environment for employees. So, for their protection, maybe they should just get rid of it. According to a report from the banking union, 1 in 4 retail workers had already been a victim of a robbery, some multiple times. And according to an anti-cash lobby group, 2 out of every 3 Swedish kroner in circulation was actually unreported money. The helicopter heist in Västberga contributed to a shift in thinking. Over time, cash gradually disappeared from daily life. Sweden was the first country in Europe to print paper money back in 1661. About 350 years later, it was one of the first to start abandoning it. The number of robberies in Sweden dropped dramatically. In 2008, there were over 100. By 2016, it was down to just 2. Today, many shops only accept cashless payment. Theft happens online now. In 2025, the Swedish central bank reported that Sweden and Norway had the least cash in circulation relative to their economies of any countries in the world. But some cash is still around, and someone somewhere has quite a lot of it, because the money from the Västberga heist was never recovered.